Stop me if you've heard this before. The Boston Celtics dominate to the tune of a huge victory against the Denver Nuggets last night. 124-104, with arguably the best quarter of basketball I have seen as a Celtics fan. This team is rolling with just 10, 11 games left for the playoffs. We're going to review the box score, go through the game script, and of course, some of my key takeaways from that incredible win last night. Let's get to it next, guys. 124-104 win over the Denver Nuggets last night. Guys, that puts our Celtics right now at a record of 44 wins, 28 losses. Quickly looking at the box score, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Yes, I'm going to say them together because, again, they have done it on consecutive games, scoring 30 points together. Starting with Jaylen Brown, in 34 minutes, he was a plus 27. He had 30 points, 6 rebounds, was 12 for 19 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, perfect from the free throw line. His partner, Jason Tatum, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, was 11 for 17 from the field, 6 for 10 from the 3, and was also perfect from the free throw. Now, I've immediately got to jump to the bench on this one because there's a gentleman by the name of Peyton Pritchard. Wow. +9, 19 minutes off the bench. He had 17 points and was a perfect 6 for 6 from the field, 5 for 5 from the 3. And in fact, 2 out of his last 3 games, he has been perfect from the 3-point line. And I'm not talking 1 for 1. I'm talking 4 for 4 and 5 for 5. In fact, if you look at his last 3 games, 17 points, 14 points, 10 points, while shooting 11 from 15 from the 3 over those 3 games. That's over 73%. He has, as Jaylen Brown put it, found his role, and he is playing it to perfection right now. Grant Williams, wow. Before I get offensive with him and go into that, defensively, the job that young man did on Nikola Jokic last night was phenomenal. He is guarding one of the top 2 big men in the game right now, a big man who has an offensive skill set that is one of a kind with his ability to pass and just those post up, those quick, pivot spins. I mean, he is, you don't need me to tell you who Nikola Jokic is, but what you do need me to tell you is that Grant Williams kicked ass last night. 13 points. He was a plus 14, 4 for 8 from the field, perfect from the free throw, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, including that insane second quarter block where he got beat on the spin move by Nikola and actually caught up from the behind and damn near pinned it on the backboard. Block from behind on the reigning MVP was phenomenal, guys. Showing some love to the opponent, of course, Nikola Jokic, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 for 23 from the field. Tough night shooting for him. He actually did only have 2 turnovers. Why is that relevant? Because the previous game, he actually had 8 total. Aaron Gordon, 13 points. Now, guys, you got to give them, some slack being that no Jamal Murray, no Michael Porter Jr. Those are 2 gentlemen that are, 20 points a game or more scorers. So, hopefully those boys get healthy. But the last update we heard is that they were nowhere close to returning. So watch out for Denver. If nothing more, when they get healthy next year, could be scary. Quickly going through the game script, guys. First quarter was pretty close, back and forth. In fact, it was 33-27 going into the second. And as I mentioned, that second quarter, I tweeted at one point, what am I watching? It literally was blowing my mind. It seemed like a damn dream. It was borderline perfection. That is what basketball at the highest of flawless levels looked like. I'm talking about every single thing they executed for that stretch just seemed like You couldn't have written that damn thing better. Like, correct me on the run, but it was what, 24-2 run over that course. Like I said, maybe the best quarter of basketball I've ever seen. And that would result in a 68-43 lead going into the halftime. That was a Jason Tatum and Peyton Pritchard quarter, both getting hot. I think it was 6 or 7 threes combined. Grant, like I said, that amazing defense and that block on Jokic came in that quarter. Now, going into the third, like I said, big lead, and they would pretty much carry that throughout. In fact, they would take a 98-75 lead into the fourth. And it was so bad that Denver actually started the second half with their starters on the bench. Ooh. Problem with that, guys, it's late in the season right now, man. It's way too late to be trying to figure shit out. Or, I mean, obviously that was just a punishment, a statement, that he did. But still, they seem to need to work a few things out. And with only 10 games left, man, it's not a lot of time left. So hopefully they can figure it out. But the fourth quarter, like I said, Boston would, again, pretty much control it throughout. 19-25 point lead. It wasn't close, guys. This was after they got that second quarter lead, it was just a wire to wire after that, just domination and control. In fact, Sam Hauser, Stauskas, Fitz, Cornette, Tice, all of our boys got some good run, several minutes left in the game. But again, Denver, very injured. Still one of the best teams. What Nikola Jokic has been doing this year has been sensational. 26, 14, and 8. I mean, it's insane. So big up to the Denver Nuggets, but our Boston Celtics actually take the series on the year 2-0. We were actually coming off of a win against the Kings, 126-97. That was a game JT had 32 points. Jaylen Brown had 30. Prior to that Golden State win, 110-88. Boston is rolling right now, guys. They have won 8 out of the last 8 out of the last 9 games. Over the course of the past 22 games, they have a record of 19-3. So 19 out of the last 22 games. We're on our 4-game road trip right now, West Coast. They're currently 3-0 on that. Final game is tonight against Oklahoma City. It is on a back-to-back, straight from Denver to OKC. Now, OKC has lost 9 straight heading into this game tonight. But then again, this has letdown written all over it. So they need to get out there, get it under control quick, and pretty much do what they did against Denver. Just, lead throughout, handle business, and take their ass back home. This was an incredible night of shooting. I mean, it seemed like this was a game in, TD Garden was in Denver for the night. You had MVP chants. You had a, ocean of green. I mean, I usually make it to the Orlando Magic games when Boston comes to our Orlando because I live only a few hours away. And it normally is about 50-50. There's as many damn green in there as there is blue. But I just figured because that's, one of the smaller markets, not one of the better teams. And Orlando's touristy as hell anyways. But it seems like this damn Celtics nation travels, man, because that shit was crazy. You're not even talking, it wasn't even the end of the game. You're talking the damn second quarter. You're getting MVP chants on an opponent's court. Like, woo-wee. Anyways, guys, they are 10-0 all time when both the Tatum and Brown tandem scores 30 points or more. In the pregame show last night, actually, shout out to my co-host, my man, Bobby B. Smooth. Much love, brother, and to the guests that joined us, Prodigy and Cal. Appreciate you guys. We all predicted Boston to win. But one thing I actually did say was that it had been several times that Tatum and Brown had both scored 30 this season, and I actually cited both of the Sacramento games. It comes to find out that was the 6th time both of them have scored 30 or more combined. 6th time this season. Now, another quick note out of that is 5 out of those 6 have come in 2022. So 5 times this year since January, and I'll give it to you straight real quick. 6 times this season, right? October 25th against the Hornets, January 12th against the Pacers, January 25th against the Kings, January 29th against the Pelicans, March 18th against the Kings, and the 20th against Denver. 6 times. 5 of them came in 2022. This team is rolling. What's the record now this year, guys? Like I said, I've lost count at this point now. I mean, what is it? 25 wins to 8 losses or some shit so far in 2022. It has been sensational. Tatum has now scored 30 points in 7 out of the last 9 games. In fact, this month, he's averaging 35 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, while shooting 52% from the field and nearly 44% from the three. Jaylen Brown, 3rd time this season, he has scored 30 or more in back-to-back games. I recently mentioned how he has had a tough start to the month. It was averaging like 14 or 15 through so many games. Now, including a game he left early to an injury. However, with the ankle. However, not with the ankle, excuse me, but he did leave early one game this month that kind of skews those stats a little bit. However, the past 3 games, he has now come out and scored 30, 30, and 26 points. Denver, Sacramento, and Golden State. The Celtics not only won the season series, but we've actually beaten them 5 straight times, man. They just have success against Denver, man, especially now with that, Al, Rob, you got to throw Grant in there. Let me know in the comments, guys, what kind of contract does Grant Williams get in this offseason? Me, Bobby, I think we kind of briefly touched on it, but what do y'all think he signs? He's up for an extension. Shout out to my man, Adam Taylor. I had a good discussion with him about it. I've heard 4-year, $40 million, $10 million a season. I've heard 3-year, $45. I mean, you've heard some, or 4-year, $60. What exactly is Grant Williams worth? I'm very curious to know people's opinion, and at what cost would you let him go? Like, if he demanded X amount of money, would you say, yeah, you've got to go? But I'm curious, what all do you think Grant signs for this offseason? Now, the Celtics have scored 110 points or more in 7 out of the last 8 games. They have also held their opponent to under 100 points 3 out of the last 4 games. In fact, the only one they didn't was this Denver game, which, let's be clear, it was, I want to say they had 97, 98 with less than a minute to go. And of course, those damn points they hit at the end are the bullshit ones. So, they held them under 100 for when it matters, essentially. So, again, 3 out of the last 4 games, they have held their opponent to under 100 points. I have a question to ask everyone. Are the Boston Celtics the best team in the NBA right now? Are the Boston Celtics the best team in the NBA right now? My man, my co-host Bobby, I recently seen his video. Go check it out. He said best in the East, ? I want to take it further. Is this the best team in the NBA right now? Let me know in the comments section, guys. If you look at just the last 10, I told you 9, they've won 8 out of the last 9, 19 out of the last 22. If you wanted comparisons, and I'll be honest, I haven't, deep dove into every other team. But if you look at the last 10 of some of the other teams in the league, you have the Phoenix Suns, who also are 8-2 in the last 10, just like us. You have the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are 9-1 in their last 10. Excuse me, I'm going to transition over. We're going to get some of the standings and schedules up. But as you see right here, guys, taking a look at the standings, Boston Celtics right here, 4th. Like I said, 44 wins, 28 losses. Last 10, 8-2, win streak 3. As you can see, the only other team, you got the Bucks right here. Shit, I didn't even see them, 8-2. And then in the West Coast, you got the Suns that are 8-2 and the Timberwolves 9-1. Those are the teams that have been hot last 10 games. So it really is. I seen it a lot on Twitter last night, the discussion about, is this the team? It was, I forget which Patriots player said it. I retweeted it, but you really have to start asking yourself, is this the best team, or at least the hottest team in the NBA right now, right? They're the best defensive team in the NBA. I already just said that you've got Tatum and Brown, who In my opinion, wing duos are probably right up there, arguably the best in the game, behind maybe Kawhi and PG-13, who are injured, and then otherwise who you comparing them to? DeMar, Levine, like there's not too many wing tandems you can even compare these two. Maybe like, you know, a big and a guard, Harden and Embiid and shit like that, Kyrie and KD. But when I'm talking wing to wing, these two young men are special at the age of 24 and 25, 5 times this calendar year, basically 5 times since the 12th of January, they have scored 30 points or more combined, right? I've told you, I can almost guarantee there's not another team in the NBA that is 18 or won 19 out of the last 22 games. If there is, I'm very curious to know. Looking at the standings, guys, we're starting to get a little bit of room over the Bulls, who we recently hopped. After you see, they have 41 wins to 29 losses. Cleveland slipping a little bit while Toronto is actually getting some momentum. I wouldn't be surprised to see Toronto hop into that 6th seed while Cleveland slips down into the 7th seed. But when you look up here in the top, this is where it's interesting. Miami's starting to get a little bit of pull. You know, they're 3 games ahead of the Bucks. I do believe the Miami Heat finish as the 1st seed. I've done a deep dive on that team about a month and a half ago on my Jags channel. They scare the shit out of me because they are so built just very well. All their guys on the bench are like 40% 3-point shooters. They're getting Oladipo back, Jimmy Butler, Bam, Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Strus. I mean, they've got a squad, guys. PJ Tucker, one of the best 3-point shooters in the game, champions. So tough team in Miami. But them against Brooklyn in the opening round would be phenomenal. But there, 2, 3, and 4 is what really is what's interesting. As you see, the Celtics and Bucks, we have the exact same amount of wins at 44. They only have 1 less loss than us. They're only a half game ahead of us in the standings. The Sixers, we have 1 more win than them. They have 1 less loss than us. If Philly loses and we win, we will be in the 3rd seed. If we win and Milwaukee loses, we will be in the 2nd seed. Am I reading that wrong? If we beat the Thunder tonight and Philly and Milwaukee both lose over the next 24 or 48 hours, are we not a 2nd seed at that point? Or am I reading this wrong? We are 3.5 games back. So is the Philadelphia 76ers at 3.5 and Milwaukee's at 3. Guys, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 games left. Thunder, Jazz, Timberwolves, Raptors, Heat, Pacers, Wizards, Bulls, Bucks, Grizzlies, playoffs. 8 out of the last 9. I think we beat OKC tonight. Then we bring it home Wednesday against the Jazz, Sunday against the Timberwolves. Not a lot of games. Some good rest here coming off of this West Coast road trip. And then we can finish this season out strong. I believe the Boston Celtics will finish at least in the 3rd seed. But the more and more I look at it, guys, they could also strike at the 2nd seed. However, with the way everything is turning out, if they get to the 3rd seed and end up playing against the Cavs or the Raptors in that opening series, I mean, this team really is a contender. If you haven't been paying attention, you really need to start looking at numbers, start getting serious about this team. Look at these players and the individual runs they've been on recently. You've got a superstar in Tatum, who's a top 10 player. You've got a star all-star in Jaylen Brown, who averages 23, 6, and 5 and can go for 40, 50 any night. One of the best 2-way wings in the game. You've got 2 all-defensive level players in both Marcus Smart and Rob Williams, who have both clearly taken the next step. You've got Al Horford, who is a vet, perennial, old-time OG, all-star, been there, done all the shit. There's nothing you can't throw at him, and the man's still averaging 10 and 7. Your bench, Grant Williams, one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA. Have you seen what Peyton Pritchard's been doing? I heard he just got over 40% on the year from 3, and since the All-Star break or some shit, he's one of the best in the NBA. Look at how he's been playing. We did trade for Derek White, and I think as he continues to get with this team and adjust, he will continue to get better. Guys, thank you all so much for your time. On behalf of Celtics Corner, Jags to Riches, James Peters, we will be back tonight with another pregame show for the OKC and Boston game. Big game tonight, just on the fact that we have a chance to hop up some more seeds here in this crazy-ass Eastern Conference playoff race. But definitely go check out my co-host Bobby's video. I'm going to actually I may actually do a reaction, highlight-based reaction to the OKC game. If not, I'll definitely have my breakdown like this. But otherwise, guys, thank you all so much for your time. I'm losing my damn mind around this team right now. It was absolute insanity last night, and I loved every damn second of it. Jags to riches, James Peters. I hope you all have an incredible start to your week. Go Celtics, bleed green. Take care, guys.